courtroom. On the stand is the defendant's mother. She's on direct examination. She's talking about traveling from Texas to Florida to help her daughter escape the alleged abuse.
Where do you reside?
I reside within the state of Texas.
Back in 2022, did you also reside in the state of Texas?
Yes, I did.
Now, I want to direct you to around June 20th of 2022. Did there come a time around then where you traveled from Texas to come down here?
Yes.
To Florida?
Yes, I did.
What caused you, without telling me what anyone told you, what happened that caused you to come down here from Texas back then?
I saw some photos of my daughter Daisy with her head bashed in, covered in blood. She had a giant scrape on her neck. She had a giant bruise on her arm, and the message, whoever got it, when they gave it to me, said...
So remember, we're not saying right now.
Okay, sorry about that.
What someone else told you, but you observed photos, and then you came down to Miami.
Right, but there was like a little text with it, and all it said was...
You observed photos and text?
Yes.
Okay. The last one that's going.
So these photos, Exhibit B and C, Defense Exhibit B and C, are these two of the photos that you saw which preceded you coming down here from Texas?
Yes, yes.
All right. So what were you looking to accomplish when you were coming down here?
I was supposed to be... What I was looking to accomplish when I arrived before my original date was to remove her and the children to safety immediately. We had already had plans to do that. I just had to, do it at an earlier date because of this.
Now, when you say you already had plans to do that, what are you referring to?
I was supposed to come instead in around July the 4th, and once we had all the stuff packed and the children would already be out of school, that she was going to leave with us, and
Go ahead.
and Mr. Jimenez wasn't going to know about that. It was just going to be on a random date, and he wouldn't have known.
So that plan was already in place for around 4th of July.
Right, yeah, we were coming for 4th.
But you were looking to implement that plan earlier.
Right.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And what caused you to do that was finding out what happened here?
Right.
Objection to meeting. Overruled.
All right, so you come down here. What happens when you come down here?
I arrived, well, as you know, I received a message with these photos, and I arrived...
Let me stop you for a second. Without telling me what the messages were, who were these messages from?
My daughter, Crystal.
Your daughter, Crystal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you traveled down here, did anybody other than Crystal know that you were coming down here?
No, nobody, well, on my end, yes. On my family side, yes, but nobody on this
You
end.
didn't inform anybody that you were coming down? You just came down? Is that
Right.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you come down, and what happens when you get down here?
Well, like I said, I arrived within hours. I arrived at 5 a.m., and I had Crystal's husband pick me up at the airport, drop me off at Crystal's house, and he had to go to work. And I saw Daisy later in the afternoon. She didn't know I was here. I didn't want no one to know I was here.
You didn't want her to know you were here?
No, I wanted to see what was really going on. I want to observe, so when she came, I saw her. Yes, I did see the physical open wounds on her head. She had a giant bruise on her arm. She had a scrape, like a mark here. And I told her, that's it. We have to get out of here now, and I need you to, we're going to pack everything up, and we're just going to leave.
Okay. Now, I want to fast forward to the last night that you saw Pedro Jimenez. You know the night I'm talking about? All right. So let's start off from the beginning of that day. When do you first see your daughter Daisy, or when do you first go to her house that day?
I arrived at 1:30.
In the afternoon?
Right.
Okay. And all right, so what do you do? What do you observe?
I sent her a text and I told her that I was here, at her place. And she said, okay, more or less. I'm not going to be specific. I can't remember word for word. I'm on my way.
Okay.
So.
Now you said around 1:30 p.m.?
Yeah, in the afternoon, yes.
All right, do you recall approximately when it was that you finally left Daisy's home that night, or later that day?
Around between 1:30 to 2 a.m.
1:30 to 2 a.m.
Right, somebody picked me up, so.
All right, so you were there for around 12 hours.
Right, but not at her house, exact. I was with her, but I went to my other daughter's house too, with her.
So during that day, during those 12 hours, you were with Daisy for those 12 hours, but you weren't necessarily in the same spot. You went.
Right.
You went at some point. You went to Crystal's house, right?
Gloria's house.
Gloria's house. Your other daughter.
Yeah.
And you came back. Do you recall around what time it was that you went to Gloria's house and when it was that you came back to Daisy's house?
Not exactly. I know it was nighttime.
Bianchi for joining us tonight.
All right, folks, stick around, because coming up on our next hour, the defendant's mother details the plan to help her daughter move back to Texas with her to escape the alleged abuse from her partner. Keep it here on Court TV, your front row seat to justice.
Medicare Matchmaker.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Michael Ayala. We'll get you back to court in just a moment. But first, our Court TV cameras are covering the biggest cases across the nation. In Ohio, jury deliberations have ended for the day in the toddler stab murder trial of Bianca Ellis. She's accused of randomly stabbing a mother and her 3-year-old son, Julian Wood, fatally wounding him back in June of last year. She has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. And in Florida, the post-conviction relief hearing for Mark Sievers has just wrapped up for the day. He is asking for his death sentence to be overturned. His accomplice, the man convicted of hammering Sievers' wife to death, testified today, claiming he was just an innocent bystander. The attorneys will send a written closing argument once the transcript from the hearing comes in about 30 to 45 days. Also in Florida, the defense present its case in the toxic relationship murder trial of Daisy Link. The defendant is expected to testify to give her side of the story. She could take the stand as early as tomorrow. But right now, I want to take you back inside that Miami courtroom where the jury is hearing from Josefina Perez. Now, she's the defendant's mother. Here she's on direct examination by the defense.
And I think it was still daylight because the children were playing outside, so I would say I can't say exactly, maybe 10, 10:30, 11. Between 10:30, 11, we left from Gloria's house.
To go back to Daisy's house?
Yes.
Did you have a chance to see Pedro Jimenez that day?
That night, yes.
That night? You didn't see him prior to the evening?
Just when I arrived at 1:30.
Okay, what did you observe when you arrived? At 1:30 p.m.
Yeah, in the daytime. I was sitting in the SUV with my daughter, Crystal. We were waiting for her.
Waiting for who?
Daisy.
Okay. Go ahead.
And Pedro came out of the vehicle with her, and he had this look of shock, like he couldn't believe I was there. Oh, and then I told him, why did you lie to me?
Go ahead. You told him.
I told him, why did you lie to me? You're saying that Daisy's trying to hurt you and stuff, and what did you do? Why did you do that to her? You did that to her. She didn't do anything to you. Why did you do that? So he said, I haven't touched her since 2016. So I should get some...
Objection, narrative. Sustained. He's going to ask another question. And motion and then judge. Maybe go sidebar. No, it's sustained. We're going to move on.
All right, so you have an interaction with Pedro, okay? And he was there. Did he leave at some point?
Yes.
Around when did he leave?
You mean like after I said something to him? Or
I mean,
what
after
time?
that interaction, did
In like 30 minutes, 3 men came and they picked them up.
3 men came and picked up Pedro?
Right, he doesn't have a car, so.
Okay. All right, so he left.
Mm-hmm.
And did you... When was the next time that you saw Pedro after he left with those other men?
I saw him that night. I don't know the exact time, maybe 11 something, going to 12. She was supposed to take him directly home. He doesn't have a car. And she said, I'm going to take Pedro home. And
When you say she, you're talking about...
Daisy said she was going to take Pedro home, so he won't come over, you know, because if he comes, then we're going to have a problem. So let me give him a ride home. And I told her, okay, go.
Objection, narrative, hearsay. Overruled. Are you almost done with your thought?
Yeah, I'm just going to say that, and then I sent her to the store, and he did come instead of going straight home.
So Daisy came back with Pedro to Daisy's house.
Right.
Now, once he's there, do you observe any interactions or altercations between Pedro and your daughter Daisy?
Yes.
Okay, what did you observe?
First, he choked her for a reason, you know, a conversation that they had, and her response made him very, very angry. And then I told him I'm going to call the police. The second observance was
Hold on, before we get to the second.
Okay.
What, if anything, did Pedro do when you told him that first time, I'm going to call the police?
He said, don't call the police on me or I'll lose my career, I'm leaving, and then he ran out the door.
He ran away?
Yes.
Do you know where he went?
No.
Okay.
It was inside the house, so I don't know.
Did he come back at some point?
Yes.
All right, when did he come back?
About maybe 15, so many minutes later. I was with her sitting out front by the AC unit. That's the front door. So I turned my head around, and Mr. Jimenez stuck his arm in the door, in the window. There's a broken window that is punched out. And he unlocked the door and went inside, started knocking things over. And then Daisy opened the door in the front. We have like one door is on this side, one is on this side. And she said,
Objection, hearsay. Overruled.
Go ahead.
oh, go ahead. She said, get out of my house. Give me my stuff back.
Now, she said, get out of my house. Did Pedro live there, as far as you know?
No, but, you know, he would just stop by, you know, like when you have your time out from the truck driving.
Right.
Yeah, he would just show up, so.
So I just want to ask you some follow-up.
Mhm.
You said that he stuck his hand through a broken window and unlocked the door?
Right.
So was he outside and he stuck his hand into the house to unlock the door from the outside? Is that...
Right. You know, I'm sitting at the front window, so I see the door. I see him put his arm in. He's turning the knob, you know, like little knob that you have there. And so I just turned around to Daisy real quick and I said, hey, you know, he's coming in through the back door.
Objection, hearsay, narrative, overruled. That's the end of her question. An answer, you can ask your next question.
All right, so he came in, he started knocking things down, and then he was told to leave, is that right?
Yeah, I told him, no, I didn't tell him. She told him, get out of my house now, get out of here. And he grabbed her purse that had her cell phone in it. It was a red purse. And she had like a pint of whiskey on top of the stove that she had bought, you know. And so he took it and he ran out the back door.
Okay. Did you see where he went?
No. Actually, we weren't trying to cause a problem with him. That was the whole point that she made.
Hold on, there's no pending question. The question was, did you see where you went? No. I was going to ask another question.
All right. At some point, does he come back, and if so, when?
The third time he came back, it wasn't that he came back, he was hiding in the alley behind the truck.
Let me stop you. If you remember, this third time, do you know more or less what time this was?
No, we were sitting outside, you know, like in the front by the front door.
Is it dark already?
Yeah, it's dark.
Okay, all right, so the third time, you were saying?
I didn't know it was him at first. It's like really dark, and it's a shadow. Like, you know, you can see someone standing there. So I said, Pedro, is that you? Pedro. And then he moved, and he came towards me, and then he laughed. He was saying he was going to tell me some stuff, you know.
Okay.
Some stuff about Daisy.
Okay. Is there any other physical altercation that occurs at that point or after that point?
Then the last one was when she went to the back. We thought he was going to be gone by then. And then she said, I'm going to look over.
You're saying overruled.
She went to the alley to see if she could see her purse thrown there since he kept standing around the alley. So I told her, let's wait till the morning. She goes, no, just in case all my things are in there. Like my cards, my phone. Let me see if it's there. And then he came, I'm trying to figure, from this way, I don't know east, west, or north. It was dark out, but he went like this, and he saw her, and he came running like this, and he clotheslined her. You know, like when you go like this, and knocked her back, and then he said some cuss words, and grabbed her by her hair, and then hit her like this. You know, like you pick someone up, and he put her face on the...
You saw
it's like
him do
a
this?
gravel. Yeah, I could see him, and I told him, now I'm not playing with you. I'm gonna call the police for sure. And he didn't say a word to me. He ran away.
Objection, non-responsive, overruled. Did you finish your thought? He didn't say a word to you, and then...
He left. That was it. He ran off.
Is that the last time you saw him?
That's the last time I saw him. Yes.
Okay. So that was the last time you saw him. Before that, if you know, how many times was he told to leave, either by yourself or by your daughter?
Many, like the parts that I didn't discuss with you. She was saying, leave, get out of my house.
Hold on, so the question is how many times...
Oh, maybe about 5 times between the both of us.
Okay, so he's going to ask another question.
Okay. All right, so that was the last time you saw him. He left. At some point, you leave Daisy's house as well, correct?
Right, I left later, much later. About, like I told you, the time.
How long after this last time that you saw him was it that you left?
Maybe 30 minutes. And I looked around, I didn't see him anywhere, so I told her, you know, I'm gonna go home. I'm tired, and you know, I discussed it with my other daughter. I said, I need a ride home. You know what? I don't want to be around this stuff. I told him to go, and hopefully he'll stay gone until the morning. We can figure out what's wrong.
Okay. And what was the plan for the following day?
We were supposed to have a barbecue since I had just arrived, and then we were going to plan, you know, like basically her escape without him knowing. Like, I told her, you know, we can't let him know anything. And so that was our plan for the next day.
Okay. But then at some point, not long after that, you ended up going back to Daisy's house, correct?
In the morning, after the police called me.
The police called you?
Yeah, it was, they told me that to come get the children and get them away, so I did.
Okay. If I can just have a moment, Your Honor.
So according to Mom, Pedro is abusing Daisy right in front of her. We'll take a break here, but before we do, I have an update out of Florida where a man convicted of orchestrating his wife's death was back in court for a second day today, asking for a new trial. This is a case Court TV covered back in 2019. Mark Severs was found guilty of plotting with his friend Curtis Wayne Wright to hire a hitman, Jimmy Rogers, to brutally kill his wife Teresa while Severs was out of town. Now, Severs has always maintained his innocence and is now pointing to new statements from Rogers where he claims that Wright acted alone in a spontaneous act of violence. Well, those new statements from Rogers came to light today as he took the stand during day 2 of Severs' post-conviction relief hearing. Rogers testified that he was an innocent witness to Wright murdering Teresa.
He picked up a hammer that was in arm's reach and struck her with it. She takes off running towards the kitchen down through that hallway. Wayne goes chasing after her. I drop my bag there inside of the garage. I go chasing after Wayne, telling him, stop, stop, as we're running off into the kitchen together. He puts his hand on her back and starts striking her in the back of the head with a hammer over and over and over and over again.
What are you doing?
At this point in time, I had already been screaming, stop, stop, stop. But by the time this fight, this little small, quick engagement happened, she was already pretty well dead.
Both the state and the defense rested after Rogers' testimony. They will file written closing arguments after reviewing the transcripts of the hearing. All right, coming up next, folks, here on Court TV, we have the cross-examination of the defendant's mother in the toxic relationship murder trial. She'll face cross-examination when we come back, so keep it here on your front row seat to justice.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, will Bianca Ellis's insanity defense be enough to sway this jury in her favor? We're breaking down today's closing arguments as deliberations get underway.
Closing Arguments, tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
Donna Edelson wasn't a regular mother.
She's the matriarch mastermind.
She's just being a parent, not a killer.
Victim to Verdict with Ted Rollins. Season finale, Saturday night at 8 Eastern and Pacific.
Only on Court TV.
Welcome back, folks. We'll head back to court in just a minute, but first, I want to bring in our guest for this hour, joining us, attorney and former public defender Gabrielle Higgins. Gabrielle, great to see you as always. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. This case is really interesting to me. There's a lot of issues here. These are one of the ones that really can go either way. I want to talk about this witness on the stand right now. It's the mom, and clearly, Mom, you know, she has a dog in the fight. It's her own daughter, right, at the end of the day, but I find her credible, and what she's explaining to us is that Pedro was abusing her daughter right in front of her. And I think that plays along well with the defense's narrative, but what I want to know from you is, what does that narrative have to be in this case for the defense to convince this jury that she was justified in doing what she did, or what she's accused of doing?
I think that the defense has done a satisfactory job in establishing that she certainly did not have the intent to kill him at the time. Now, did they have a volatile relationship? Did that volatile relationship include violence? Absolutely. But if she shot him to escape, that's much different than shooting him to kill. And shooting him to kill with that intention, with that understanding, with that appreciation is what the prosecution would need in order to meet their burden. So I think the defense is attacking that intent requirement, and they're demonstrating that she was trying to get out of a toxic situation. She was using her best efforts at the time. Obviously, these aren't the choices she certainly would make now, but based on what was available to her at the time, seemingly, they're suggesting that that was the only way she believed she would be able to escape him.
There's one aspect of the case that I want to ask you about. It troubles me a little bit. We've learned so much in the last few years about domestic violence. But here we have a situation where the state is claiming and presented some evidence that it was kind of mutual, that she was giving as good as she gave. Example, apparently she pistol whipped him right before he pistol whips her. And, you know, it's just crazy to even think about. So when a jury is presented with that kind of information, are they going to be willing to accept that she feared for her life and was in this domestic violence relationship and couldn't get out of it?
I think there's well-documented psychology. There's lots of documented studies on the psychology of survivors of domestic violence. If you are in an environment that is sanctioning that sort of violence, that culture of violence, you may at one point be a participant and at another point obviously be a victim. And the issue is not necessarily whether or not she's ever inflicted harm upon him, but whether or not she believed that she needed to escalate the degree of violence in an effort to avoid violence herself, right? So what she believed in that nanosecond before she pulled the trigger is vital, and what the jury thinks about her belief, right? Whether the jury believes that she had in her mind a credible threat of danger that she believed could not be escaped but for the use of force that she employed in this situation. That's what the jury has to wrestle with. And does the prior history of mutual combatants obviously impact their evaluation? Certainly.
Yeah,
but it doesn't necessarily negate it.
Yeah, I would hope so, because I think it probably informed her decision-making, is what I would argue as her attorney. All right, Gabrielle, stand by. I want to go back inside the courtroom for more testimony in the toxic relationship murder trial. The mother still here is on the stand. She's on cross-examination now by the state.
That you told Pedro to get out of the house?
I never got a chance to tell him anything. That's the truth.
Ms. Perez. That's her answer. Let's ask her another question if you have another question.
Okay.
So that's a no. Okay. So now you were also asked about coming to get Daisy after the pistol whipping situation.
Right.
You weren't present when that happened, right, Ms. Perez?
No, I wasn't.
You don't know how it happened?
Not based on my own knowledge, no. I wasn't here. I wasn't there.
You don't know where it happened?
No.
You don't know the context of that whole pistol whipping situation, right?
Well, I knew about it, but not because I was there. Someone told me, the other party that was there.
And that someone that told you was your daughter?
No, my nephew also told me.
Okay, but you only know from what they
Right.
told you because you weren't there.
Of course.
Now, you live in Texas, correct?
Yes.
And you lived in Texas since 2011, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And Daisy has lived in Homestead since 2011, you would say?
Since she was born.
So since she was born, so
Right.
that's a yes.
Of course.
Okay, so, and your relationship with Daisy isn't close, you would say?
Well, we talk every day almost.
Okay.
Even though we're far away, yeah.
But you don't know about the relationship with her and Pedro on a daily basis?
Only verbally, by conversation.
Only what she tells you?
Right.
And you would actually speak to Pedro on different times?
Yes, I do.
You had a good relationship with Pedro, a consistent relationship with Pedro, I would say.
It wasn't good, and it wasn't consistent, but I did keep a relationship with him as well.
He would call you?
Right.
Now, you were also asked about the date of incident. So you came down to get Daisy and pack up, right?
Yeah. That was the plan.
But then you mentioned you were going to have a barbecue the day after.
And?
So were you having a barbecue or were you trying to get her out of Miami fast?
The barbecue has nothing to do with how I was going to get her out. I mean, we were going to have a barbecue as a family.
So I'm just trying to figure out at what time between you coming to Miami and you having the barbecue, what time are you packing?
Off and on. She already had stuff all over the floor to wash and everything. We're not making it obvious that she's trying to leave. It's supposed to be like nobody's going to know.
Okay. You also mentioned you saw Pedro that day. Is that right?
Are you talking about?
The night of he was shot.
Yes.
Isn't it true, Ms. Perez, that Pedro was the one who got the rental for your daughter?
Yeah, the truck was still in his name.
So he was the one who got the rental for your daughter?
Right.
And isn't it true, Ms. Perez, because you were there, that they were driving up and down together?
No, they arrived together at the apartment. I don't know if they were up and down. He didn't even know I was here.
We'll break it down then.
Okay.
When they arrived to the apartment, they arrived in a car?
Yes, and
They arrived together in the car?
They arrived together.
They were with the kids as well? At one point?
No, they weren't with the children.
So if I were to show you ring camera footage before he was shot with him, Daisy, and the kids, would you recognize that?
I don't recall the kids getting out of the car. I recall him and her getting out of the car. So, I mean, yeah, you would have to check that.
So, Ms. Perez, I'm kind of confused with your timeline. You were there at the house the night Pedro was shot, correct?
Yes.
And the kids were also at the house before he was shot.
They were with us, though, not with him.
But Pedro at one point comes to the house with Daisy in the car.
She was supposed to give him a ride home.
Okay, so we're going to start before, at the beginning. When you first get to Daisy's house, isn't it true that Daisy and Pedro arrived in the car together?
They arrived together, yes.
Okay. Now, isn't it also true that they were driving multiple locations together?
When they arrived together, okay, and he saw that I arrived there, and we got into that conversation about what happened to her, I told you he left with 3 men.
So he left the house?
He didn't go in the house. He stood right outside and talked to me about the incident, and then he left. He said, I called some friends, I'm leaving.
He left with his friends?
Right.
And isn't it true, Ms. Perez, that your daughter went to go get him from those friends' house?
She went to go, you want me to tell you why?
Ms.
Okay.
Perez, I just want you to answer yes or no.
Okay.
Isn't it true that your daughter went to go pick up Pedro from his friend's house?
Right.
So your daughter is so scared that she goes to pick up Pedro after he leaves from the friend's house?
She was supposed to take him home so he doesn't come and harm us. So she's trying to cooperate with him.
I understand, Ms. Perez, but isn't it true that your daughter was the one who decided to go pick up Pedro?
Well, it'd be better than having him come to the house where the children were.
Ms. Perez, my question is very specific. Isn't it true that your daughter was the one who decided to go pick up Pedro? He didn't ask her to go pick him up.
I don't know that.
Would it surprise you to learn that she told the detectives that she went on her own will?
No. Sidebar, please.
I think you heard that no. I believe it came from the defense's area. I believe it probably came from the defendant saying no.